Hello, everyone. My name is Shanken Chen. You can call me Dr. Chen. So, as you already watched Unit 1 to 5, today we are going to talk about Baroque music, and this is going to be the Unit 6, Episode 1. So, Baroque music is our today's topic. If you imagine, if you go into any buildings or any like constructions, and then you will see some beautiful decoration or beautiful paintings, or even on top of the ceilings, you will see a lot of decoration pictures, very similar to Baroque style, right? Especially if you go into the church in Europe or some like government buildings, you might see Baroque style. So what is Baroque, and when is the Baroque happen? Or where is the Baroque style happening during that time, and why? So I would like to start from the what is the Baroque means. Baroque actually came from Portuguese barroco. That means the irregular or maybe oddly shaped pearls. Everybody knows pearls, right? It's like shining little rounded shaped things. And or it could be also be seen in French. It's also called barocco, like irregular shape of pearls. So that means from the word baroque, you already know it could be something shiny or something fashion, beautiful decoration. Okay, and so before we go into talk about the Baroque music, let me just explain you why the Baroque style was happening in Europe. So it was began in the beginning of the 17th century. So like about like 1600s, the Baroque style was encouraged by Roman Catholic Church. It means to counter the form against the Protestant architecture. That means when that time the religious Christianity religions really control the style of Baroque. So in Catholic Church, especially Roman Catholic Church, they encourage something has to be more elegant, more fashioned, and once you go into the church, it has to be that way. Instead of Roman Catholic Church, the Protestant Church, they are encouraged to be more simple or austerity. Okay, so this totally opposite between the Roman Catholic and Protestant Church. Okay, so Roman Catholic really encourage everybody to do the style that calls the Baroque style. So it all starts from the Rome in Italy and then spread out to the north of Italy, and then gradually goes to the Portuguese and also Spain of the west, and then also go to the east, Austria, and also Germany later on. So it started from the beginning of 17th century and until the end, probably late of the 18th century. And the Baroque music style started from the 1600s till 1750s, when Johann Sebastian Bach died the same year in 1750s. So who are the major composers during Baroque period? For example, like the guy I already mentioned, Johann Sebastian Bach is one of the top Baroque composers during that time. And also Antonio Vivaldi in Italy, and also George Handel in Germany. But he was born in Germany, but later on he was getting famous in England because the king hired him to compose a lot of like royal families music, like festival pieces, those kind of things, or like fireworks. So he get very, very famous in England. So those three are the main composers in the Baroque period. Okay, so what are the philosophy of Baroque music? Before Baroque period, it was Renaissance. So during the Renaissance time, people think they have to follow Greeks and Romans idea about what is the art. And they also think the music is a very good tool to communicate with people. So if you listen to Baroque music, you can have some kind of sense. Music is not only for entertainment, but also you can communicate with the people. And also the other way, you can also think about music is a very powerful tool to encourage people or encourage your listeners. So you will get some emotional feelings from the music. That's what the Baroque music they are trying to say. Like all the Baroque composers or musicians, they pursue to have this kind of philosophy in their compositions. Okay, and so what are the main characteristics of Baroque music? First, if you listen to Baroque music, you will feel a lot of contrast. Like, for example, like volume, if it's loud or soft, that's the big contrast. Or even if you listen to the concerto, that means the soloist or the soloists were playing with the orchestra. There is a big contrast between the soloist and the orchestra, right? So there's also a contrast. The other thing is when you listen to Baroque music, you will feel the melody, one single melody is called monody, advanced with the basso continuo. Basso continuo means the bass line. So if you look at the score, look at the music, you will feel on top there's a single melody. At the same time, there is something going on underneath as a bass line. So two lines will be together to be heard from the music. Okay. And the other specialty from Baroque's music characteristics is also the timbre. Often we use the modern instruments to perform Baroque music, but think about it, back to the Baroque period, most of the people were not having the modern instruments, not only including the string instruments, but also the keyboards is very different than our modern days. Back to the Baroque period, you were easy to see like Baroque violin or viol, V-I-O-L, viols family still playing, or lute families instruments. And also the keyboard at that time is called harpsichord, not the piano we see today, or even forte piano is already later on after the harpsichord. So what is harpsichord? Well, it usually looks like smaller size of piano, but it also has the keyboard, so we can also call it keyboard. There is this kind of the same thing, a row of levers, and when the players press down the key, or maybe one key or more keys, inside of the harpsichord, there are a lot of strings, and then there is a mechanism to plug the string with a wheel and then up. Once you place down the keyboard, and then the mechanic things inside of the harpsichord will plug the string up, then will make the sound. That's how the keyboard do. And nowadays, if you look at the keyboard, a very big difference between the harpsichord and the piano is we have black and white on the keyboard. And on the harpsichord, it's totally opposite. If you see the white key on the piano, it's black key on the harpsichord. The same thing on the black key on the piano, and the harpsichord is a white key. Okay, that's normal thing. But not every harpsichord has the same things, just most of them. Okay, and so because of harpsichord, you will feel the sound is much different than our today's piano sound. Okay, and so it's much lighter and much quiet than our regular piano sound. And so next, I would like to play one of the piece composed by George Handel. This is his F major violin sonata. And there are 4 movements in this work. And today we are going to play only some of the first movements, and maybe we'll go on to the second movement if we have time. So before we play, let me introduce our today's pianist, Antico Lee, Li Caiying. Okay, she is going to be our today's pianist. So during that time in Baroque, people or musicians, they are playing Baroque violin and also harpsichord. This work is also called violin and harpsichord, not violin and piano. Okay, so the first thing we are going to let you to listen is from the harpsichord side. So, as I already said, Baroque style, you can very easy to feel one single melody going up and then underneath with a bass line. So right now, I want you to listen to the bass line first. So from the harpsichord part, second major and fourth major of the first movement. So you'll hear da long bam bam do bam 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 bam. This is the bass line, and what's going on the top line is from the violin. So we are going to play first major first to the major fourth. So as we just played the first 4 majors, you will easily to hear I'm playing the top melody, and underneath there is a bass line kind of echoing each other. Okay, so why don't we play from the beginning to maybe a little bit more music in the first movement for you. Okay. Okay, and you can continue to listen to the first movement when you pick up the different recording, okay? So the next we are going to talk about a little bit in the second movement. So second movement is totally different than the first movement. It's faster tempo. It's called the allegro. So it has to be, the speed has to be faster. So here I would like to show you from the harpsichord part, because I already said harpsichord, the sound is pulled by the quill to trigger the strings, so the sound is much lighter and it will disappear after you play. So why don't we just heard maybe from the piano part, but it's the already harpsichord sound. Very good. So you will hear everything is like jumping, very soft, right? So we will just play a little bit beginning of the second movement, okay? So as you already heard the first movement, now we would like to go into the second movement. We would like to just play a little bit of the second movement. In the second movement, it's very different than the first movement. It's much faster. It's the allegro tempo, so fast compared with the first movement, slow tempo adagio. And in the second movement, the beginning, I would like you to listen to a little bit harpsichord sound. So as I said, harpsichord is a much lighter instrument than the regular piano. So why don't we listen a little bit for the harpsichord's part? So you will hear everything is like jumping, very short notes, right? And we just play together from the beginning, just a little bit music of the second movement, okay? So this is about the fourth measure from the beginning of the second movement. And you can continue on to listen to the different players or different musicians play Handel's violin sonata in F major, okay? So I would like to thank you for your attention, and I will see you next time.